Good morning and welcome to the Late to Work podcast. I'm your host, Parker. Thank you so much for joining this Thursday morning. Hope your morning is going well so far. And in Michigan, we have some beautiful weather this morning. Currently, I am on time to work, and I'm doing pretty good. Yesterday, I worked a lot, but let's talk about that later. Right now, let's jump into the first submission for today, who is Jarrod. Jarrod wants to talk about his time in Oregon, and he has a pretty funny story to share. So, Jarrod, take it away.
Hey, Parker, thanks for having me. So, I'm in culinary school right now, and I love to travel. So because of that, when I go places, I search for really cool restaurants, incredible restaurants, crazy, weird restaurants. I've had some really good food, some really bad food, and had some really weird food at different restaurants. But by far, the craziest restaurant that I think I've been to was in Seattle, Washington, and it was called Biscuit Bitch. And all they served was biscuits and gravy and different variations on that, and a biscuits and gravy sandwich and different kind of drinks. But they were just like very loud, and the woman that was kind of, I guess, the manager there, she was screaming at everyone in this very, very small restaurant. Very small restaurant. It was very hot in there, and she was yelling and telling everyone the rules and how to line up and to bust their own tables and this and that. And she kept calling us bitches, and it was pretty cool, and she was pretty nice about it. I mean, well, swearing at all of us, but it was also hilarious, and I think that, it was a pretty good business model to run, because at the end of it, everybody knew what to do. Everybody formed a line pretty well, and everyone got their food, and it was a long wait because there were a lot of people there, but it was pretty good. And I got biscuits and gravy covered in grits, and scrambled eggs and cheese and Spam, and it was incredible. And if you are ever in Seattle, I would highly recommend going to check out Biscuit Bitch, because they have incredible food and they run a pretty tight business. So thanks for having me, Parker.
And we're back. Thank you, Jarrod, so much for sharing. You're a good storyteller for sure, and I would love to have you back on the podcast with future stories. Today I want to talk about my work and how things are going with that. But real quick, if you ever want to be on this podcast, always feel free to record yourself on your phone. Just a simple story you have to share, something funny, or some visionary idea. And just email it to latetoworkpodcast@gmail.com. And simple as that. And then I'll just pick the best ones. And if you get chosen, there's also a monthly raffle where you might be chosen for a Starbucks gift card giveaway. So feel free to submit, and you might just win a Starbucks gift card out of this. So I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say. And now let's talk about my work. I've been doing creative work for the last few years now, and I do video work, I do animation, I'm going to school for product design, so a lot of creative stuff. And it's really interesting, the creative type. And I keep realizing this more and more, but it's not like being a bank teller where you can just go to work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, or whenever you go to work for a bank, and just do that day in and day out. It's kind of crazy how it's actually ups and downs. I mean, there are stories about musicians having rough times and stuff like that, with ups and downs, and having struggles with dealing with life and their job, and I'm just really coming to realize that it's really true, the creative type. A lot of people don't realize that it's not just artists, famous artists or musicians, that go through those huge ups and downs. It's a lot of smaller people too. And really a lot of people in creative fields go through those ups and downs, and you'll have a week where you can just pound stuff out, and then a week where you're just not feeling it and you're really down and things are rough. So yesterday I worked 12 and a half hours on some video stuff, and the previous week I didn't work that much on it because I just didn't have the energy for it, but then that day I did, so I did a lot of work. So it's really interesting to see how that plays out, and it sucks in a lot of ways because you can't just stage it and conserve your energy, but it is how it is. So I'll see what I can fix with that, if I can make that any better, and let you guys know. But let me know if you have any tips, if you're creative and you have ideas on how to manage that, because because I'd love to hear it. So feel free to submit. Thank you guys for joining, and I hope you have a good weekend.